Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you have a good day today. Did not make any holiday videos this time, Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's. I think that's the time for everybody to spend at home and work with your family and your friends and things like that. And you don't need to see somebody like me or any of the other clowns out here on YouTube making their boast and promises and warnings and all that stuff. So I hope y'all have a good day, and I hope you have a great year. That's the best thing I can say for everybody, but we've got to try to do our best to make that year come apart. Got some things I want to talk about, of course, always. On an unrelated note, I was looking up something else earlier today, and I come across the question about how thick the rings of Saturn is. And I was surprised to find out, guys. And also, I went ahead and looked into how thick the rings of Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Jupiter is. And here's the answer I got. And before I relieve this, tell you the answer, you guys, is ever since I started getting into YouTube and other stuff like that and everything, I started finding out about the numerology of things, especially with the 33 or 333, the 232, which is a Masonic number, the 13, the 666, etc., etc. You know of the whole thing. And in fact, this has gotten into me where I start looking for not only numerology or noticing numerology, things like this, but also symbology. And it kind of gets to you after a while because you get ate up with it. But anyway, I went ahead and looked it up. And it come to find out that the rings of Saturn, is the one I looked up first, is 33 feet thick. I said, wow. So I went ahead and asked, what is the thickness of Jupiter, Neptune, and Uranus? And it comes out that, let me look at it here. Let me get down to it right here. Uranus ring is 33 kilometers thick. 33 miles thick. Neptune's, they don't go into it right now. Dadgummit, I had it a while ago. But anyway, guys, 330 miles thick was the other one. 33 miles thick, 33 feet thick. And Jupiter, I think, was 1,250 feet thick, miles thick, which is half the circumference of Earth. And I thought this is kind of really odd, guys, because, you know, we all know about the number 33 and what it stands for, Masons and everything like that. So it kind of proves, guys, that right now, our sky, the picture of the sky, is a bunch of BS. Which goes in, and guys, this goes into another subject I've been talking about, the relationship of the Earth's energy and the sun and the rest of the solar system. But anyway, today I want to go into something else about all this and everything. This is just a side thing. I thought it might be something y'all might want to look into yourselves. Recently, I mentioned that we was watching Stranger Things. It was coming upon the final episode, which was last night. We finally watched it this morning and everything. And I'll be honest with you, they boosted it up like it's going to be a big surprise ending and everything like that. And I was unimpressed, just put it that way. While it was a good, interesting TV show and everything like that, and it brought up a couple of interesting topics about the upside down world, which is basically bizarro world, like Superman's bizarro world, where everything's backwards and stuff like that. And that led me into another chain of thought. But anyway, the whole thing about this was that it come across that, let me give you a little background on this. You know, we have heard since early on and everything, several years ago, 20 years ago, maybe even longer, that there's other dimensions. We heard about it in science fiction, books, and movies, and things like that. And other people have speculated that there's other dimensions and everything like that. And it come to find out that evidently there is, even though we don't really have any rock solid proof. But we know, even deep down in our own hearts, we know that there is other dimensions. So this brought the question, what is it about dimensions? What is it about reality? Is our reality based within another dimension, or based within dimensions, or is dimensions based within our reality? Well, so I asked AI, who's the best expert in all things that I know, and it's free. Excuse me. So AI clarified this, that reality has several dimensions. But within each of these dimensions, there's several realities. So that kind of boggles the mind, guys. I want y'all to imagine this right here, that in effect, since this is the thought process, you know, there's nothing real, to be honest with you. We don't know if this is the real baseline, as Elon Musk or other theorists talked about, the baseline of reality, or if we're a splinter or even a dimension off the splinter, or et cetera, et cetera. It kind of boggles the mind at where we are in the reality of things. Who knows, right? But anyway, back to Stranger Things and this dimension stuff. One of the things that came out in it, guys, and it really kind of blew my mind away, because I never thought of it before, is that, of course, we heard of the MK Ultra programs and all its splinter groups that came off of it, and how they worked with mind-altering drugs and working with people with telekinesis and ESP powers and all that, so extrasensory powers, extra powers, if you will, X-Men type, moving stuff with the mind, invading other people's minds and watching them, listening to them talk and stuff, all that kind of crazy stuff we heard in science fiction books. Well, evidently, they was working on this through the CIA and other groups. And in the TV show, Stranger Things, is going on through the Department of Energy. Strange thing, yeah. Anyway, it come to find out that they have known about these dimensions since the 80s. In fact, they found a way into them in the 80s, according to the TV show. Of course, it's like I say, guys, predictive programming is real. They tell us the truth in plain sight, and they disguise it in TV shows, music, literature, magazines, etc., books, everything, guys. It's all disguised as science fiction or pulp media, pulp fiction and stuff like that. But guys, there's a lot of reality in this. So anyway, they've known about these realities since the 80s. In fact, they've been experimenting with them since the mid-80s, going in and out, and they discovered that there was other dimensions. And that's bad enough, guys. Or okay, remember in 2012 or somewhere around there that CERN announced that they have broke through the dimensional barrier, and they did say that something came through. And they also said that somebody from our side went through and never came back. In fact, they said 4 of them went through and never came back. And there's been talk about recently, since they opened this veil into other dimensions, that these entities, whatever they might be, have been coming in to our planet. In fact, on several channels, they show these Dementor type things flying through the skies during disasters or whatever. And everything like that. These black shadowy things, sometimes they're white, and they just look through Dementors like from Harry Potter or something like that. Spirits in the sky, if you will. So ever since then, guys, they've been talking about these things have been coming through. They said they opened up portals into other dimensions. So, guys, that is possibility of truth. And again, in 2012, CERN said, we're sorry, we destroyed Earth. So we got to think about these things. There's not pulp media, not pulp fiction. This is reality stuff that they're telling us. This is reality stuff that they've known about other dimensions and have been experimenting with them since the 80s, if not before. So in Stranger Things, it come to light that they were taking these people that they have experimented with on Earth, developing their extrasensory perception, turning them into X-Men or whatever you want to call them, and their children afterwards was taken from them, said they died during childbirth, and they took them into these alternate dimensions. And there they trained them in several things of this extrasensory projection power that they might have had. And it was working. And it brought to mind, guys, that, we think about how they're doing this mindless breeding program, underground facilities where they are breeding children. For what is mind can only say. Are they for future soldiers? Are they for a food supply? Or for their own ritualistic sacrifices that they do? Or whatever else, the harvesting, organ eating, stuff like that. Whatever it is you want to talk about. Yes, these things do exist. But now we have a new idea, guys, that they're taking these people that with special powers, extra powers, and perhaps taking them into a dimension other than Earth where they can develop their powers, their extrasensory senses to a developmental pattern of a weapon of mass destruction, a weapon of secret destruction. Guys, this is really kind of blowed my mind away that they have the possibility, according to the TV show again, and again, it's predictive programming, that this is what's been going on since the 80s. Boggles the mind, guys. It boggles the minds. Anyway, that's about it right now, guys. I got more ideas I'm working on, trying to pull together. Again, artificial intelligence, just research, the search program I use, Google, even DuckDuckGo, is being kind of slow and unresponsive, basically, or repetitive in trying to find out information I want. But guys, the reality is there, guys, right there in front of us. They told us with this TV show that they are in other dimensions and they are developing human super weapons. And who knows what else. I hope y'all have a groovy day. As always, later to us. Oh yeah, one more thing. Start the new year by doing something nice for somebody today. And each and every day, even if it's a phone call or like writing a letter or whatever, reaching out on social media, do something nice for somebody today. Later, taters.